Hello everybody and welcome back to Combe Valley Campers. I am at JCB Eurovans in Polegate, East Sussex to film what is probably going to be our most controversial video, where we take out and test drive the new VW Transporter. I just want to take a moment to say thank you to our sponsors, Howden's Modified Van Insurance. That's right, A-Plan are now Howden's. They still do exactly the same in that they will insure your van from the time you buy it until you completely convert it into a camper van and beyond. And if you want an exclusive rate on your next policy, please mention Combe Valley Campers and they will sort you out. So the title of this video, as you've seen already, is why wouldn't you buy one? I already know why you wouldn't buy one. But I'm here to show you why you should, or what I think of this new Transporter. This is a VW Transporter. Have a look, see? It's got a VW badge on it, and at the back of the van it says Transporter. And I know why you think it isn't a Transporter, but it is. It's got a badge on it, and there's a badge on the back that says so. And there's one there, look. There's one here, and there's another one at the back there. They're all over the place at the VW dealership. So let's show you what they have to offer. So when you come to order your brand new VW Transporter, you have, right now, the time we're filming this video, 3 options. They come in a package of a Commerce, or they are called the Commerce Plus, and the Commerce Pro. Right behind me is the Commerce. It is their basic van. It's not basic because there's so much within that. The infotainment system, the engine and drivetrain. It's actually a really comprehensive vehicle, really cool vehicle. But the main difference you will see is that it's body coloured here and it's not body coloured there. It has black textured bumpers, front and rear, and the standard steel wheels. We'll go into the stats later, but right there is the Commerce model. The next level up from the Commerce is this right here. This is the Commerce Plus. This is what we would call, in the old VW terms, maybe a trend line. And mid-range van, you got your body coloured bumpers and a higher spec level. Slightly different rear lights here on the Commerce Plus, which we'll show you in a second. There's slightly different rear light cluster. But yeah, this is the mid-range. This is what Volkswagen suggest or predict that this will be their best seller. Not Billy Basic, not the highest spec of the next van we're going to look at, but this is the Commerce Plus. And again, we'll put all the stats down a little bit later, or in the screen around here. We'll go and cover that. And finally, their flagship is the Commerce Pro, which is the one we've got. This beautiful body coloured, bumpered and mirrored in this metallic grey, which is very similar to the VW colour of Domi's T6.1. And this has got all the bells and whistles, and you can spec it even further. But this has the nav system, it's got heated seats, it's got all the adaptive cruise control, etc, etc. If you've got the pennies, this is the one to have. And moving forward, there will be the Caravelle option, there will be the Combe version, etc, etc. But right now, this is the panel van in the Commerce Pro spec. So I've been handed the keys then by Scott from VW, JCB Eurovans, and I'm looking forward to it. We have got the Commerce Plus with all the bells and whistles. This is the 150 PS version. And what do you think of it? I really like the looks, actually. I wasn't so sure when I saw it online, but the more I'm spending some time with it, I like it. The Commerce in the background there with the black bumpers, I like it. Is it as attractive as the 6.1 in the background? I don't know, but I kind of like it, and I certainly wouldn't kick it out of bed, that's for sure. So why don't we go take it for a drive and see what we think. Straight away then, this is a very, very comfortable place to be. much like any new car. And I'm sure I said the same thing about the Transit when we took that out in January 2024, when that was first released. We are very privileged, I might add, to be able to take this out. We are allegedly the first in the dealership, apart from a VW member of staff, to actually take this on the road. So yeah, thank you to the guys at Volkswagen, because this is an honour for me. And if you've watched this channel long enough, or you know who I am a VW guy. I currently own 6. Everything from a 69 bay window to a 72 Beetle, an 81 Type 25 or T3 or Vanagon, an 06 plate T5 and a 2022 T6.1. I'm a nerd. So to get into this vehicle, knowing what I know and knowing what you know, more than likely, has torn me, to be honest with you. I know the underpinnings. I know this is a high percentage of Ford. You lift the bonnet, it says FOMO Co, Ford Motor Company, everywhere. We did find some VW logos. There's one on the VIN plate. There's logos on the headlights. There's a big one on the dash, on the front grille, and they are on the rear door as well. I picked it up from Volkswagen. It has a Volkswagen aftercare package. So it's a Volkswagen. Much like a Vivaro is, a Nissan is, whatever brand they put within that chassis. Much like the Transit Connect is a Caddy, much like the Amarok is a Ranger, much like your 2017 Crafter is a Mercedes Sprinter, much like the new Crafter is an MAN or MAN. Automobile manufacturers have no choice but to collaborate nowadays, especially with a vehicle such as this, because people want a comfortable, reliable, spacious commercial vehicle that has to conform with the requirements that are put against it. It has to be safe for you, safe for a pedestrian on the road, economical in terms of fuel, environmentally friendly. And to build a van from the ground up in today's world is, I'm sure, a very expensive practice in the 2020s. I'm sure back in the early 2000s, maybe even the late 90s, when they started developing the last iteration of the Transporter, they were able to just develop the new van from the ground up, much like they did with the T4, much like they did with the T3, the Bay and the Split. But in today's money, it's not economical to build a van, design a van from the ground up, especially with today's regulations. So the result is a Ford Transporter, Transit, custom VW Transporter thing that I'm driving right now. And it's really controversial. I've seen your comments on our posts on Instagram. I've seen your comments under the Urban Arc Overland video. I've seen your comments under the Transporter HQ videos on YouTube. I've seen them all over the internet. No one is happy with this, not one person. And there's 3 reasons why. Let's go back to the title of the video. Why wouldn't you buy one? Reason number 1, doesn't look amazing, certainly not as pretty as the last Transporter, but you can do things to change that. A base model Transporter is still not an attractive vehicle with stock suspension, steel wheels, etc, etc. So the looks aren't really floating people's boat. I personally think it's really quite striking, and I think it's a grower. Secondly, the fact that it's not a pure Volkswagen, and there are purists out there who will poo-poo this immediately and just go, nope, I am not touching that again. VW have ruined their reputation by building this van or collaborating in this van. And I partly agree. It's certainly not the Transporter of old. Like I say, I own more than one iteration of van. I've owned every version of the Transporter apart from a split. I still currently own most of them, apart from a T4. So the purity's gone. Yes, I agree. It's still a damn fine van. It's still got a VW badge on it, and you still buy it from a VW dealership. And the third, and I think the biggest problem, or reason why people won't buy this van, is the wet belt engine. And I think VW know that as well. Because if you were to buy this van today, you get the new Volkswagen 5 Plus Promise. If you buy this van today, you get 5 years free servicing and MOT, 5 years free servicing and 3 years MOT. You get 5 years warranty and 5 years roadside assistance. Now, there are fine print and stipulations that you would have to adhere to conform with those promises, I'm sure. But that's a really good deal. And it kicks the crap out of the 0% finance, in my opinion, that Transit offer, or that Ford offer on the Transit Custom. So they know there's problems. And since the Transit was released, the wet belt design and makeup has changed from a more eco-friendly design, which has proven to degrade, to a more robust version that's not so eco-friendly. And there is 5 years worth of servicing schedule. So if you do service this van as per Volkswagen over the 5 years, there shouldn't be any problems, right? So I know the reasons why you don't buy it, or why you won't buy it. However, there's plenty of reasons to buy it. Let's go through them. Before we talk about how it drives, first off, how annoying is that indicator sound? That's definitely a Ford thing. And also, when you open the door, it goes diddling, 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 like a Ford. I don't know if I could get used to that. But how does it drive? Like any new van, really comfy. From what I understand, the suspension is not Ford, it is a VW product. The wheels are VW, and they've chosen the Goodyear tyres. Whether that's any different to the Ford Transit Custom, I'll have to check. But I am currently driving the 150 PS Commerce Pro with 6-speed manual gearbox. It is also available in an 8-speed automatic. I'd like to try that one day. But this has all the bells and whistles, as we have listed, or I shall list down in the description. The Commerce Pro is the flagship model. I have a completely digital dash, which was only available on the sport lines before. I have a completely digital infotainment system, which, when I connect to my phone, has maps, a really cool reversing camera, a 360 camera. It's got adaptive cruise control, normal cruise control, electric mirrors, heated seats. Not too shabby. But it comes at a price, and we'll discuss that later. It's quiet, it's refined, there's no rattles and squeaks. It handles pretty fine. and the turning circle is super tight for a van of this size. And I was fortunate enough to drive that Transit Custom, as you saw in a previous video, and we can leave a card up top or a link in the description down below to that video. And with that van, the lineup's slightly different. I believe there's only 2 specs. There is a standard and a limited. In fact, if I double check my reference piece of paper, there's a leader and a limited, if I remember right. We drove the limited with all the bells and whistles, which is, again, a lovely place to be. I would have no problems using this van daily, converting this van into a camper van. And do you know what? I wouldn't have that niggle in the back of my mind that this is a wet belt engine. I would not. Because within that 5 years of the 5+ promise that I spoke about earlier, as long as I take care of my vehicle, which I do, I take care of my vehicles, and I service it regularly as per VW instructions, it's kind of not my problem. Oops, totally wrong gear. Yeah, it's not my problem. It's VW's problem. And I don't think they'd go into this knowing they want to sell tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of these vans, knowing that there is a huge problem. So personally, I would be very happy to look past that. For this vehicle, with this spec, be it a Combe or a plain panel van so I can turn it into a camper, I'd be quite happy with that. And you may not like the looks, but with the likes of Transporter HQ, who have already made an air ride kit based off the Custom, are developing coilovers, developing lowering springs, have made sidebars, have made spoilers, have made windows. We sell the door cards for the interior, the floor. There are parts for this available already because the Transit came a year early and provided developers with that base to make new products and design new products. The other thing people have spoken about is how cheap the Transit is compared to the Volkswagen. But I've got some facts and figures to show you. And I'm going to tell you why that's not always the case. So I think what we'll do, we'll park up, chat about some figures, because I built an almost identical, or as much as I could, Transit Custom on their van builder on their website yesterday, and I built a VW Transporter on the configurator last night. And what I'm going to tell you may well surprise you. So, prices then. As I said, last night I went on to both Ford and VW van configurators yesterday, and I spec'd out 2 vehicles. So first of all, I'll start with Ford. Their Ford Leader, Billy Basic van. No extras, black bumpers, steel wheels, just a van. Not including that van off the forecourt, £34,204.83. Plus VAT. That is a total of £41,045.80. The same van from Volkswagen, called the Commerce, like you saw earlier, with the black bumpers, Billy Basic van, £38,520, including VAT. So they don't even give you the non-VAT price. £38,500. So 41 versus 38.5. That's quite the saving. That's the Billy Basic van. Either way, that's still 40 grand for a brand new van, which is a hell of a lot of money. So I understand that you might have some concerns with that. So the second vehicle that I spec'd up was the Commerce Pro, which is like this van, but I ordered it in a T32 weight rating with 150 PS engine, 8-speed automatic, in grey with 17-inch alloys, and the two optional extras I chose were the roof bars and the navigation package. That was a grand total of £49,620. You heard that right, nearly £50,000 for a high-spec van. I then did the same with Ford. T32 with 170 PS, mainly because I couldn't find the 170 PS version of this van, the Volkswagen, with 8-speed auto, navigation, alloys, roof bars, and the grey paint. And I got 53,255. So 49.5 versus £53,000. In both cases, the Volkswagen came out cheaper. Same vehicle, arguable, well, debatable, not really. They are effectively the same vehicle. And the Volkswagen, according to what I found on the internet last night, Volkswagen came out cheaper. So you make up your mind. The thing that is important to me about a van like this is the interior workspace. Why? Because I convert these vans into camper vans. If I was to buy one, that would be my main concern, to see how much space it has. If we're starting at the back right here, much like the existing Transporter, you have the option of barn doors or a tailgate, and you can spec that out in whichever format of van you choose to buy, be it the Commerce Plus or the Commerce Pro. However much they look very similar, I've been told they are not the same as the Transit Custom panels. So these doors are exclusive to the Volkswagen, and the tailgate is a totally different pressing to the Transit as well. Let's get it open. Really wide opening doors. They don't seem to have the static stays like the old Transit. But the VWs don't have that either, but super nice and wide, and they seem fairly sturdy. They've got a stop about there. This is bigger than the Transporter by quite a lot, and we can put the stats on the screen right now, so you can pause the video. But for the purposes of what we're doing today, I have a tape measure, so we can just get some basic measurements for you. From the tip of the bulkhead then to the back of this door here, I have 262 centimeters, 2 meters and 62, or in feet, 8'6". In terms of width, let's go between the wheel arch tubs. We have 136 centimeters, 1 meter 36, or in feet, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 foot, 4'5". Above the wheel arch tubs, which is your concern when you're fitting a rock and roll bed, that is a 165 centimeters, 1 meter 65, or in terms of feet and inches, 5'5". So there's a possibility with that trade ply removed, you could actually have a width-weight bed depending on your height. If I go extreme from the sliding door to as far as I can reach just under that trade ply there, we have 175 centimeters, 1.75 meters. In feet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 foot. 5'8". Not too shabby. In terms of height, gosh, on a quick note, it does pain me that everywhere is the label FOMO Co. or Ford Motor Company. Everywhere. From the floor to the bottom of the rib, just here, bearing in mind you probably have a ply lining on top of it, That is 140 centimetres. 1 metre 40, or 1, 2, 3, 4 foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 foot 6 in height. Big space. Again, all the measurements will be on that previous slide in terms of the cubic square meters, cubic feet. And the long wheelbase is, much like most vans, is another 40 centimeters or 400 millimeters longer than the short wheelbase variant, this being the short wheelbase. Ply panels are available. Windows are available, floors, ceilings, roofs are available. I know West Dubs in the UK and Skyline Roofs in the UK are making roofs for these already. In Europe, Rimo are already making them, and I think it's SCA Roofs. We were fortunate enough to go to the Dusseldorf Motorhome show last September, and they're only converting vans like this at the show with Transit Customs. But I'm sure if we went in September again, which we plan to, we would see nothing but Volkswagens being converted into motorhomes or camping vehicles. Last night, we actually, excuse the editing, but we actually got this van last night and we took it out and we opened these back doors to reveal what are quoted as, in the brochure, super bright LEDs, and they work really, really well. And on the subject of lights, all the lights on this vehicle are LEDs, and they perform way better than the Transporter lights ever did. Obviously you get your side, your dip, your main, and you get some interactive fogs or cornering lights, which are quite cool. Indicators are regular bulbs, I think, on the mirrors. On the rear lights, they're all LEDs as well. And as we showed before, on the Commerce Pro, the lights are slightly different to the Commerce and Commerce Plus. And again, they're all LEDs. Really, really nice and bright. Exactly what you need. But I'm sure the likes of Transporter HQ and others moving forward will have a really attractive light. And there is also, I'm trying to think of the name of it now, there is a light upgrade you can have on this. I cannot remember the name of it now. But lighting's good, interior's good. Have we got a separate switch there for lights? Yeah, there you go. Did that work? Something turned on and off then. Is that one? Yes, this one at the back here, look. There you go. You've got two sort of loading lights there as well. Excellent. And what I'd like to add also, there is a 12-volt socket down there too, which is handy. And I know you can spec out a 12-volt USB, I believe. Happy with the interior size. It's good. Let's go and have a look at the outside, shall we? Where a lot of the controversy is. Onto the exterior styling then. It's part of the VW family styling. The ID Buzz, the ID3, the Transporter now, even the Caddy all have this angled light. Most of the comments that I've had so far whilst driving this for the last 8 hours, people go, looks electric, looks like an electric car. Kind of does. It's very bullnose-ish. You got this big flat panel here, but obviously there is a reason why they've designed it like this. It has to be aerodynamic, it has to be safe for pedestrians on the road, it has to be safe for you driving it. Huge crash impact areas, etc., etc. I'm sure if there wasn't those regulations, this could be really stubby or really angled. And I would agree with most comments in that, on the face of it, the Transit is more conventionally attractive. It's got some wicked headlights, a huge front grille. I'm still on the fence, but I actually prefer it in the flesh than actually on the pictures. And I hope you get the opportunity to see one so you can cast your own opinion on it. I very much look forward to Transporter HQ and everybody else coming out with styling parts, because I actually scoured the internet last night and I found one company, I can't remember the name of it now, who are actually offering already a front splitter, some side skirts and a rear splitter, as well as I think a spoiler. But I know the guys at THQ Automotive they're already deep into it, and I cannot wait to see it. But with some suspension, some big wheels and some body kits, I think a lot of people are going to change their mind. And I've already had comments, and I think we spoke about it earlier, People hated the T4 when it came out, and then the T5, etc., and people just grew into it, and I believe this is going to be the same thing. Yes, it looks like a Transit from the side. Yes, it looks like a Transit Custom from the rear. There's not much you can do to get away from that, but I think with the styling options that will inevitably come, should be all right. Should be all right. Do we like it? I'll tell you one thing. On our way back from some of the shots we just did, stopped by at a well-known bakery, rhymes with eggs, and I didn't look back at it. And I didn't realise I didn't look back at it until I came back out of the well-known bakery shop and saw it in the car park, and I was like, I'm on the fence. Let me know what you think down in the comments. In terms of a vehicle, excellent. In terms of styling, right now, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. In terms of the engine, there's pros and cons. More cons at the minute than there is pros. Would I buy one? Not yet. I will one day, but not yet. Might wait for the EV, might wait for the hybrid. Do I stick with the diesel? I don't know. I don't know. But I think we've covered those 3 points that I said before: the styling, the engine, and the fact that underneath that it's just full of Ford Motor Company parts. I don't know if this is a traditional vehicle review. I've explained my thoughts about the vehicle in the video. Can't wait to hear yours and read yours. It's the only option we have, so we've got to roll with it. I'll see you on the next one.